right, welcome to another edition of Pep Talk with Pepper Johnson. Pep's got 5 rings, 2 as a player, 3 as a coach, and he's going to tell you how it is, how it was, and how it should be. We are joined tonight by a very special guest. We've got Mr. Steve DeOssie. I'm gonna do this every goddamn time. I'm gonna mess up your name because we took a second take. I'm one take done.
DeOssie does this to so many people. Mm-hmm. They are scared of him. We was just talking about intimidation.
We're not even going to cut this. We're just going to go with this because Steve DeOssie is here, a wonderful player. What is most remembered about him for Anthony is that he was a long snapper. I don't know why that's how he remembers him, but that's how he remembers him. Yep. We are joined, absolutely, guys, by Mr. Ken Carson and Mr. Anthony, the Greek Junior Snyder. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We got some great topics. We got some great clips, and I'm just going to let Pep get right into it. So what are we talking about tonight?
I want DeOssie to give his version first on how the hell we met.
I'll tell you how we met. We met under a pile of about, 1,100 pounds of men, and you were trying to hurt me.
I have a lot of friends. Did
you try to bite him? You were face to face mask to face mask, and you were threatening me and hurting me because we were trying to recover the same fumble. I remember I remember you just very calmly talking.
He's not telling the truth. He's not telling the truth, world. He is not telling the truth.
You were on the Giants and you were on the Cowboys. So.
Yes.
We officially and formally met at the very bottom of a pile after
that part is right.
A fumbled punt, and there's literally tons of humanity on top of us, and we are face to face, and we both have the ball right here like this, and take it from there. Pep.
Yeah. Okay. Now the part that he failed to.
We had a nice talk. We had a nice talk.
Yeah. We was having somebody was having a nice talk. The other person was begging for his life. He had this finger, and I noticed as far as the finger could go, but it felt like it was about to touch my wrist. And he was saying to me, this is the conversation that he's talking about. Let go of the ball, let go of the finger. Let go of the ball, let go of your finger. Let go of the ball, let go of your finger. And I'm like, please, Lord, let me pass out so I would not feel this pain no more. Or where are my teammates? They supposed to be up in here and get this dude off of me. Let go of the ball.
Oh, my God.
Let go of the ball. Let go of your finger.
There you go.
I did not let go of the ball.
No, you did not.
I did not pass out.
I give you credit for that. It was a very casual conversation. It wasn't very
it was a casual conversation, all right. I was like, I wish I could bite his face through the face mask, man, and make him. I was holding the ball. I couldn't do anything else, and everybody cheered and all that stuff. Yay, Pep! Yay, you got the fumble, man.
Face to face, and we couldn't move because there were so many people on top of us, and we're like, Pepper, you should let go. You should let go of the ball. Pepper, let go. He's like, no.
Finger about to touch the wrist. My finger is about to touch the wrist. He's bending all the way back. Now you want to show these penalties or lack of refereeing and this stuff later in the show?
Yep.
Yeah.
That should be a flag.
Well, you can't
still find him today.
I knew they couldn't.
The stuff that goes on at the bottom of the pile goes on, man. They can't see that stuff.
I know. Trust me. If the situation would have been reversed, I would have been doing the same thing. I never could get anybody in a situation like that.
I'd have been crying like
I want someone else to be walking around in this world right now, feeling the pain that I was feeling. That dude right there, who is now one of my best friends.
That's right.
Ever.
What scared me about it was that I was very, very calm about the whole thing. And I was
How you gonna be calm? It's not your finger.
That's a good point.
It was very, very matter of fact. He was haggling.
Dude, I couldn't. You notice the part. Okay, don't forget the part about all these dudes on it.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't give up the ball if I wanted to. There's so many people on it in my face, like, you know, and he hold it. I was on that. He was like side by side up under everybody.
Yep.
And he's talking to me, and I'm like, man, can somebody, one of my teammates, please come yank this dude by his leg? Oh, I was so heated.
I'm gonna say that was sweat dripping down, not tears. All right, I'm gonna say that you were sweating. I do remember. I was like,
dude, I'm gonna tell you what, I didn't have no time to. I was hurting too bad to cry.
That's right.
I couldn't have cried. I was hurting. I was trying my best to pass.
That was your rookie year though, too. That was 85, I think, right?
Yeah, no. It was the year before. DeOssie was 88, so that's my third year in the league.
Oh, okay.
Because then you come over the next year,
right?
That's what really set it off. Now DeOssie comes over there the next year.
Mm-hmm.
I hold out,
yeah.
Because they told me, hey, Steve DeOssie, Johnny Cooks, they got your job and gone. They gone. I'm like, okay, all right. So somebody better trade me, right? Forget all that giant administration stuff. Let's get to the fun part. So I finally come in. Okay, Pep going to sign 2 games into the freaking season.
Yeah.
And I go down to 25, 52. I go down to my favorite partner in 74, Eric Howard. You know, all classmates came in together.
Yep.
They have a bar, and I go to the bar, and I'm like, man, let all my boys know that I'm in town. I'm about to sign. Pep is back.
Yep.
Who do I see sitting in my chair? Said, oh man, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm getting ready to do the finger deal on this guy right now. He's getting the finger deal. And he don't remember either. I hate that I don't know what he said to me. I wanted him to say something crooked.
Yeah.
But whatever he said, we laughed and we haven't stopped laughing since.
That's true.
Oh man.
I hate that.
That's
I
true.
can't get him back. I can't get him
Pep,
back.
if you could go back in time, Pep, you could have said, how about I give you the finger, you give me my chair?
Yeah.
That's what you should have said to him. That would have been the perfect remark.
I wish I was a smart guy. I wish I was smart like you, Jeff. I probably could have said something like that to him, but I didn't know what to say. I wanted him to just say something wrong so I could continue to dislike him.
But he ended up being a nice guy.
I'm pretty sure I got that seat. I'm pretty sure I did.
Took my chair, and then bought me a beer. And I'm telling you, we never stopped laughing after that. It was like, dude. And then, okay, so now let's fast forward to my daughter's born, right? Take my daughter over to Steve's Steakhouse. Well, I shouldn't say that because they're gonna think it's the one on 46 in East Rutherford. They don't think that you own that place.
Yeah.
No, take them to Fred and Steve. Yeah, Steakhouse in Rhode Island. Take my daughter there, and hey, I want you. This is Uncle Steve. This is a good friend of Daddy's. But I want you to know the story on how your daddy met Uncle Steve. Blah, 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 blah. First thing he says, you're still telling that story? What do my daughter do? Yeah, there you go. Everybody just starts laughing. My wife starts laughing. My daughter starts laughing.
Yep.
I can't even finish the freaking story.
Yep, that's right.
I'm done with this guy. I'm done with him. I can't get him back. Forever just gonna feel no one knows the pain because no one is freaking stupid enough to bend their finger back that far.
Should we bring up the fact that you guys won Super Bowl 25 by bringing over 2 Cowboys, Walls and DeOssie?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Parcells asked my opinion about Walls too. He said because I got there in '89. and I loved it, and I thought it was the most wonderful thing that could have happened to me. And then in the off season, Parcells says, "Hey, what about your boy Cubby?" Now all of a sudden, now I know that Bill, knows him better because he knows he's Cubby Walls instead of Everson Walls. And he goes, can he fit in here? Is he one of us? And I realized I had to be 100% honest. I was like, let me tell you, he's not going to hit like us, but he's never going to miss a tackle. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. He's going to fight to win. He's going to do whatever it takes. He's definitely one of us. He's not going to hit like us, and he'll be the first to tell you. He's not going to hit like we did, but he's going to make sure that he makes a tackle. He probably saved the Super Bowl with that tackle on Thurman Thomas late in the game.
We watched that. Yeah, 100%.
And I remember thinking, I called Walls right after I got away from where I could call Walls. I called Walls and I said, hey, Parcells asking about you. He goes, I know, I heard. How you like it up there? I said, oh, you would love it. Just come on up, Cubby. You can stay with me. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Come on up. You'll love the guys here. And he told me at the end of the season, before the Super Bowl, he said, Steve, you've never been so right in your life. This has been an honor and a pleasure, and these guys are so good to play football with. He was thanking me for 2 or 3 years after that. He just loved the opportunity, And
let me go back to that statement Ken just made about we had to get y'all over there. Let me get this right. We had to get 2 Cowboys in order to win it. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think you guys really understood what I meant.
Bring a Cardinal over for running back. I mean, you guys are just cherry picking everybody out of the East.
Hey, that's a smart man. Parcells, his philosophy on it: if you can't beat them, have them join you.
Yeah.
Not join them, have them join you. Say he ended up going and coaching freaking Dallas.
He did.
But no, that's fine. Those guys that gave us problems, I guess he thought, hey man, if DeOssie stay over there in Dallas, sooner or later he's gonna end up breaking Water Pepper fingers the next time it's a fumble. So Walls got so many freaking interceptions against us, so we can't throw outs, and we like to throw outs.
Yeah.
And let's get this dude over here. Because we, like you said, and like Wall said, we didn't put big emphasis on turning the ball over because we 3 and outs. We was proud all about the big 3 and outs. It was LT the only one that was getting the strips, and if somebody threw the ball to us, you caught it and was happy. But going for the ball and all that mess like that, no, you just try to separate the man from the ball.
That's exactly what it was. And it wasn't something that was spoken about. It was something that was just understood. It wasn't like we all sat around after practice saying, hey, we got to really hit. We got to really bring it. Everybody understood that was the case. And if you weren't ready to do it, you weren't going to be there. We saw some guys come and go that thought they were ready to play with that defense, and they just didn't want that kind of hitting. That just wasn't their game. They wanted to play a smoother, softer game, I guess, but that wasn't. You remember the NFC East back then. You had the Hogs in Washington. You had Philly with as much talent as anybody in the NFL, and then the Cowboys got all big and husky with that offensive line and Emmitt Smith and Troy and all them. Mm-hmm. Those were basically barroom brawls. We'd have been just as happy to go out in the parking lot and fight with the Eagles. Even though everybody had friends on each team. Those were basically brawls on the field, and that I was okay with that because I'm not going to run with anybody, but I can sit there and swap hits. That's fine. I can do that, but I just couldn't believe how it was just. It was a casual.
You didn't have to run with anybody. I got your back.
You did. Yeah. What time?
I was gonna run with it. Hey, but can I share with them that the time I wanted to fight the whole St. Louis Cardinal offensive line?
Yeah.
Man, them dudes. Hey, I threatened them all, and I told them all to meet me. I'm coming to their bus.
Yep.
They stopped me. They stopped me. I was like, dude, I'm not that guy, man. Y'all, you're not going to talk all this mess, and you think because the game is over with, we put on our street clothes that nothing going down. No, I'm coming to see you by your bus.
Yep.
They called the police.
That was legendary too, because it didn't stop. It was just like nonstop. Just you want this? You want this? Come. And it didn't matter who it was. Could be
exactly.
Could be the off tackle, because they were a little dirty though. They were a little dirty. I remember. I remember them being.
Everybody had a little something, special about them. I think everybody did a little more than, but not to the point where, like Andre Waters, rest his soul, he was probably the only guy actually taking some dirty shots at folks.
Right.
Because he went down at Bavaro knee one time.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a minute. In the off season, because Keith Byers, when he come to Keith camp, I'm going to have to see Andre, because he ran off the field real fast and carrying on.
Right.
But other than that, everybody was, hey.
Yeah.
When we hit Jay Schrader, we hit him up high. We then smashed him on his face.
Well, that was the good. What I thought was so good about that defense, and what gave me just a good feeling was that everybody was willing to stick their face in there. Everybody was willing to do the dirty work in terms of grunt work. Like you take on that offensive lineman, even though it's the guy's got 50 pounds on you, or maybe only 30 on me. But the idea that nobody was shy about stepping up and hitting. Nobody. Mark Collins.
You had to win your battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to win your battle. That's we talk about that, especially on the show, is that like what a lot of these guys do now, having the players jump around and move around and all this stuff like that. They don't know that they are. You don't have the same football IQs as like we had.
Yeah.
And then you take a guy from one position, put him over to another position, and give him a whole nother responsibility, just because you saw somebody else do that mess. You're not really sound. See, I know. And me and LT was talking about this the other day. Like, if they ran the ball around the right side, we knew that was LT fault.
Right.
They ran around the left, that was Banks' fault. They ran the ball up in the inside somewhere, that was me or your fault.
Yep.
And there wasn't no switching around and all that stuff like that. We didn't do that. Yep. And when you say about, we was talking off the camera about us just playing cover two, that made that so sound.
Yeah.
Because if you ran the ball, you know where we are, come get us.
That's it.
If you pass the ball, we know whose responsibility is where.
Yeah.
Who do you dare to challenge?
Right.
No one was daring to challenge anybody. Because if you mess around and you threw the ball in my zone, you threw the ball in the wrong person's zone, you was getting ready to pay for it.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
Him telling me to stop talking.
No. I have a question for Steve. When you talk about hitting, separating that man from the ball, I mean, I played football through my sophomore year in college, and I hit a guy so hard from free safety that I stress fractured a vertebrae in my neck.
Yeah.
I loved hitting,
Yep.
and that's pretty much what ended me. But can you enjoy watching football today and the way defense has been legislated out of the game and hitting?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy watching it?
I marvel at the athletes. They're great athletes. I still watch it. Not like I used to be. I'd tune into. I'd watch Indy Carolina on a Thursday night. If it was, I'd watch half of that game, whatever. Not as big as I used to be. Well, since my son left the league too, I don't pay as much attention either. But I inevitably I'll watch a game and I'm thinking, there's just not. It's a different game, and I get it. It's the NFL doesn't skip a beat. They market things phenomenally, and they know how to make money. And what they've done has increased the popularity of the league, or maybe it has, but I think it has. Just look at the ratings. It just doesn't feel like the same football that I knew. And not that I'm mad about that. I'm not mad, but I'm like, there's guys that have opportunities to make hits that give them up, a pass on them. There's guys that in the interior line that are abandoning their responsibility to try to make a play or to try to find a way not to have to hit the first guy so they can hit the second guy. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on in the league right now that and I'm an old bastard. I get it. I'm 60 years old now, and it is what it is. But there's something to the intimidation factor in the NFL that's just not there anymore. There's not an intimidating defense out there. And the days of the Bears or the Giants or that Baltimore team is the most recent one of intimidating offense.
Or go back to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And that secondary, that was so feared.
Right.
Jack Tatum.
Yeah, I always thought intimidation was part of the game.
Yes.
Skip
Thomas too, but yeah.
Now, when you
intimidation, that used to be in our playbook. That's how you started off the defensive section, intimidation. And I, like I said, I've told these guys when I went and I looked at, I got film from the Giants, from the video department, and I was looking at it and I was like, I'm just ready to show all these clips of reroutes and jams and things that I was coaching and matching up, receivers and reading patterns. Because, like in our day, we didn't call it 7-on-7. It was pattern read.
Right.
That was the period. The offense called it 7-on-7, but defensively it was called pattern read, written down that way. So you read your pattern. But anyway, I was looking to try to give my guys that information. But when I started watching our games, a lot of teams were they lost before they even played against us.
Yeah.
Because we were they knew if they caught that ball in front of Steve DeOssie, he was getting ready to get blown up.
Yeah.
They knew if they ran an isolation towards you, they was getting ready to get blown up. Run an isolation towards me, I'm tearing.
Yeah.
You're being disrespectful, and now look at you.
I remember.
And now your mother got to see you this way. Your kids got to see you. Look at you.
I remember you yelling. That was
our attitude.
You were yelling at some fullback because they tried to run the ISO on you, and you yelling at me. You pummeled them, then you yelling at me. You go back. Tell your coach. Tell your coach you can't run that play anymore. It's only going to be paying the rest of the game. Do not run that play again at me. And the guy's looking at you like you're half crazy. And I'm like, I love it. I loved hearing it.
I'm going to shorten your neck.
Yeah.
But the game within the game. That's why they called it the trenches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they called it the trenches.
Yeah, I get it.
And now
the game today is basically, I said it before, it's about, who's gonna make less mistakes instead of who's gonna make a play.
Right.
I watched the game last night. I was talking to Jeff about this earlier.
Painful.
That Jet team is so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have put a high school team on the field that may have done better than that team. I mean, the mistakes, the just sloppy play. It's like, how are you a Jets fan? How is anybody a Jets fan?
Well, it's hard. It's kind of like what Anthony was trying to get out of Steve. Is it tough to watch? There's a passion for the game.
Yes.
As much as I discredit a lot of the stuff, but my point of view now goes so heavily towards coaching because I feel like it's not being coached.
Right.
And part of it is the new CBA that the collective bargaining agreement, and they gave these guys an excuse, but the clueless. They're just clueless that they can go and do it. And we talked about you don't have to just because the coaches don't put you in pads, that don't mean you can't put on pads yourself.
Right. Belichick always talked about doing business as business is done.
Doing business, exactly.
Nobody's seen more rule changes than Bill Belichick. He's been in the league for 50 years or something. There's been rule changes all along, and he's adjusted accordingly. And you can't you're not going to fight as an individual player or an individual coach or even an owner. You're not going to fight the NFL because the NFL is doing these things because they believe it's going to make them more money in the long run. They've been right so far. They've been right. If they turn it into something more ridiculous, then that could be an issue. But the fact is, right now, the NFL has not been wrong in the rule changes they've made. And you know, I understand the gambler scenario, but just by the little I know of gambling, it's got to go both ways. It's got to go both ways. And there's the ones that are hurt about it, the ones that are yelling the worst are the ones that got screwed by a bad call. I get it, but I guarantee you that same guy is going to have a call go his way the next week, and he's not going to be screaming about that. So the NFL can't pay attention to gamblers in this situation. What they can pay attention to is how many viewers do they get? How big can they get those TV contracts? And that's what all these rule changes have been about. And I believe some of the refereeing too.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that if the league was called a lot more, I don't want to say fairly, but if there were a lot less controversial calls, do you think that the league benefits from there being calls that are questionable in the fact that more people are talking? Do you think that in the media, because there's bad calls, do you think it benefits the NFL to have some bad calls, which generates conversation? The whole all news is good news kind of thing.
Jeff, I'm gonna high five you because I was just about to say that. Look at right now. We've been talking about this for like about 10 or 12 minutes.
Right.
And it has us talking. Remember, the majority of the owners in the league, the NFL is their second or third line of income.
Right.
Yeah.
It's mainly used for marketing. The owners don't know, and a lot of them don't even give a care if they win or lose.
True.
They don't care. That part is not is not their objective right now. And I know we said we weren't going to say it, but they're trying to bring like the last group of people around, and that's young girls. And so they bring
Say it.
Taylor Swift.
Tay.
They bring her and spin her around and model her around and say, hey, she's at a football game. She don't know what the somebody stick the mic. No, I'm not saying it. But anyway, it's marketing. It's marketing. And it has us wanting to reach back and have the game that DeOssie and I grew up on and played and was so fascinating. But we was ripping them players off.
I won't go so far as to say that they're making bad calls on purpose, but I think as for conversations, because of the nth number of sports shows that there are, podcasts, live shows, that they definitely benefit from these conversations. They make, once again, all news is good news. It doesn't matter because people are talking about it.
It's a solid point. It's a solid point.
I mean, I used to, I think one of the problems that I have with the current NFL is the fact that they play Thursday, they play Sunday, they got a Sunday night game, a Monday night game. It's back when we used to watch, it was Sunday. Sunday was football. You had 1 o'clock games, you had 4 o'clock games, and you didn't have another game until Monday night. So there was a anticipation, there was a buildup that happened to Sunday. Sunday meant football. And now that they spreading out the league, and now you got guys playing on Sunday, and then they got to play a Thursday game, and I just think all that kind of stuff where they're trying to oversaturate has watered the game down too.
It hasn't happened yet. I would agree that that seems like it would happen, but the only reason they're not doing Saturday games is because the college schedule's out. You'll see it at the end of the season.
And you get them,
and they will.
In December, they'll have Saturday games.
Mm-hmm.
They could do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday if they wanted to.
Right. And the reason why I meant to Anthony is because I think Vegas has as much to do with what's going on in the NFL as anywhere else.
There's whole websites that rate the referees by the amount of calls they make, what their tendencies towards, who's got the high. There's whole websites that just break them down. And if you have a referee that calls a lot of PI in that game, well, then that's what you got.
Well, you have good coaches. You have good coaches do that. Belichick, he always did that.
Yep.
If this group, because those groups stay together.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
crews, officiating crews.
Yeah, they go around to game, so you have a crew that might call more holding calls than they do pass interference, and another crew is vice versa. So they have that part is working. Ken, going back to what you were saying about stretching it out. What the NFL has right now for marketing is every month, all 12 months of the year, it's something going on in NFL.
Yep.
It's always football season.
They want to have it all. They want to always have it football season.
Yep.
And for the people that still don't get so riled up from a draft and from hearing about who was in a training camp, who was in the OTAs and who wasn't in the OTA or free agency or anything like that, that's why they're trying to support some of these spring leagues so that football can be all year around, because they don't want you to stop thinking football.
That's true.
They want you to constantly think football you're going to be if people don't already do it. That's how much I stay away from it. But draft picks, they're going to be betting on freaking draft picks. They're going to be betting on trades and stuff like that.
They never stop talking about the draft picks and who they're going to draft and where they're positioned. And unfortunately, one of my guys is a Bears fan, and I'm a Giant fan. And right now, we're looking at who's going to have the higher draft pick.
Yeah. Talking about the draft is one thing.
Right.
Betting on someone who's getting drafted is another thing. But I'm so obviously they don't have that, but it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Yeah, there used to be an old term: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think the NFL back when you played was the sport. I mean, it was football, baseball, and there was a huge gap. And I don't need they need to do all that.
The other thing is, if you're standing still, you're losing ground. The NFL has been correct.
Do you think that they lost ground at any point when they started doing
that's what I'm saying. They haven't. They've done the opposite. They've gained audience.
When everybody else have been
at some point that's gonna oversaturate.
It could.
And people are gonna be like,
haven't reached it yet. I don't even think they're close to it yet.
Exactly.
I think when you start bringing Taylor Swift into things, the
ratings will tell you different. The ratings will tell you otherwise.
Exactly. And
adapt or die.
Yeah.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
So sooner or later we might not turn on our TV because we can't see that damn thing. But
how many of our old teammates have said, "Why don't they just wear flags and call it flag football nowadays?"
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But but they're not planning for us. They're planning for our grandkids, right. and can they watch? That's why I said.
Well, listen, I will say this, that I work with a lot of people who are international, and it always boggled my mind, but I think that maybe the NFL is seeing what happens in the world of soccer, because I'll be watching, there'll be some huge soccer tournament on, and everybody in where I work is all watching this thing, and they're talking about it, and then it ends. And then 2 days later, they're watching another soccer tournament. And I'm like, I thought it ended. And they're like, oh no, that was that one. This is another one.
Exactly.
It never ends. And that's what NFL wants. They want people talking about it 24/7, 365.
No doubt.
They want it all the time. And they don't, and that's the thing is, as special as it was, there's too much competition for your
So
what your eyes are on. There's not just sports. There's video games. There's TV shows. There's everything, and they need your attention more than just for 16 weeks plus the playoffs during this time of year. They want you watching the sports. They want you anticipating. They want you doing everything, and that's what I think they're doing.
I get that, but again, it's just so frustrating that it's like if they want everyone to be thinking about the NFL all the time, right? Then why let the officiating crews be why let Taylor's why let everything but what's happening on the field between this team and this team be the
world. That's the world now.
You need more than that now, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. That's the world now. You're
I don't like it.
You're answering exactly. You're answering all questions. Let me get him with the Thursday.
Yeah,
let me get him with the Thursday. With all the football. Kim, remember? Okay, they gave the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys the Thanksgiving Day game.
Yes,
and it was because y'all was bad and it was doing this and da 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 da, and we'll just give you give you that. And it became such a big event to play on that Thursday. They've been trying for the longest, but when they had the original football organizations and owners, more of the guys was that way, and some old school coaches, it was like you can't really prepare your team right to play for that Thursday.
Right.
And then after you do play that Thursday, you have more time
10 days
to prepare for the next team.
Right.
And so they was conning them and making them feel like, hey, we can't really do it. And so the owners kind of shied away.
Yep.
But then they shied away. And then now they just set up here and it's just said, just like Jeff was talking about, you playing these overseas games and all this stuff like that. That is they had the answer for that. You play an overseas game and then you come back and you have a bye week.
Yep.
And that's their way of getting away. Only with Jacksonville.
There's going to be Jacksonville going to go to London.
They stayed out of the country for 2 weeks.
There's going to be a team in London.
And that's what they want.
I've been to 6 games over in London, and I guarantee you that those games sell out so fast. And they come not just from England; they come from all the Scandinavian countries, Spain, Italy, not so much France. But those games sell out so fast, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been over there also. It's amazing, and they really, it's just a big party.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
It's just like the soccer games. It's just a big party. Like I don't even know if these guys really care if they kick the ball in the net or not.
The fans and the football fans in the stadium. You've seen it in London. They're not really cheering for anything. That they don't. Half of them have no idea what's going on.
Exactly.
And they're just cheering like they would in a soccer game. You hear soccer chants going up in football games in London or in Germany.
Chant and sing a song. That's what everybody give. But hey, the owner said they bought a ticket.
Yeah.
They bought a ticket. That's all what matters.
That's all that matters.
I don't care what they do when they get up in there, and I don't care how they get home.
Yep.
They had a few games in the past in Mexico City, didn't they? With the Dallas Cowboys went down there and 100,000 people in the stadiums and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they would never have a team in London would be the travel. How do you?
I think that guy is working his way towards getting Jacksonville moved to London. Absolutely,
he's based in London anyway. The owner of the
exactly.
He's English, right?
Yeah, Ken is going to. I'm telling you, they're gonna work it. Think about it. If they, it's just like basketball playing West Coast trips or some of the baseball teams. If they come here and they play 4 or 5 straight away games and then go back to London and play 4 or 5 home games,
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers who have to go to London for a game.
And then come back.
Yeah.
Come back and then have a bye.
Yeah.
No one cares about the players anymore, Ken. They don't care. They don't care about your rest.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't care about the coaches because it's a bigger strain on the coaches. Now, yeah, it's a bigger strain on the coaches. You got to grade the freaking film. You got to. Oh, there you go. Hey, I'm telling you, if I could fly over there, because they, hopefully everybody is flying over there like how the Patriots flew over there. It's straight laid out.
Yep.
That freaking plane there with the double decker.
Right.
Everybody got their own little booths and seats and all that stuff like that. It's laid out, and if you can't sleep on a plane, you got a big problem. But you can go up into that little lounge area and drink yourself and go and pass out somewhere.
What kind of plane is this? They got lounges and sleeping areas and
it's like a double decker.
Yeah, dude. You got the big screen. Everybody got their own TV screen.
Patriots own their own 2 planes, right? They own 2 planes.
Yeah. Now, when I was with them, they didn't have that plane. They didn't have craft, and they didn't. We chartered the plane that was going over. But yeah, exactly. But that plane, Ken, it's no joke now. It's no joke. You don't. It's not like you're. I mean, hey, if you can fall asleep in a lounge chair, you can go to sleep in that because you can stretch your legs all the way out. You can lay back. Everybody. So that part is not a problem.
If the money's there, they'll go for it. They'll figure it out. If the money's there,
that's what I'm saying. It's not like you have to go and play a home game, then away game, then a home game, then away game. No.
Right.
And some of those teams, just think about it. If they went over to play Jacksonville, what they're trying to do now is, Jacksonville and London. Then what they're trying to do now, instead of you coming all the way back home, you go to freaking Mexico and then play a game over there. Now make your way back to New York or somewhere out east or whatever.
Right, you're right about that. It's not about the players. They're not concerned about the players. They're concerned about the product.
They're not under. Yeah, hey man, I pay that dude $5 million. Man, he better figure out a way to run.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the NFL is talking about the product on the field. How do you put a good product on the field when you're not concerned about the ability of those guys to do that?
Those guys don't care about winning, dude. Yeah. It's all marketing. They don't care about winning. That's why I said it was harder on the coaches. The coaches worried about it because as soon as the good guy get back home, and if they lose out there and they lose when they come back, then they're gonna put a L on their head when they lose it.
Listen, there'll be some Spice Girls in the up to watching the game. You can promote that. It's fun.
They don't care about that. That kid, I love you, dude, but you if you think they are paying even the quarterbacks and they're paying those guys the money, $10 million a year, $30 million, whatever they're paying these guys a year because of their talent, you disappoint me, man. They're not paying anybody for the freaking talent no more. That day and there is going out the window.
Remember this too with the ownership. Players and coaches come and go. The owners, for the most part, stay, and if they don't stay, they just sold their franchise for $3 billion.
Yeah,
right? Well,
$6 billion.
I'm just talking about maybe Jacksonville Jaguars, or someone like that. Not a team that has a dedicated following like the Skins or the Giants or whatever. But these owners, they understand that coaches and players come and go. In the long run, they come and go. The ownership is what's always going to be there. Just the way it is.
I mean, and listen, and just talking about Washington, you're talking about not only the most inept owner in all of football, maybe all of sports. He wasn't even a good businessman. The best business move he ever did was to buy Washington and hold on to them for as long as he did, and sell them for a bunch of money. And basically them get worse every single year he owned them. All of his other businesses getting worse, the culture getting bad, and he still made money. It didn't matter. He still made over $5 billion owning that team and driving them into the ground.
He made a lot of coaches a lot of money though.
Yeah,
everything.
He was paying 3 and 4 coaches at a time. His head coaches. He had got contract after contract. It was fun.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the head coach.
One more line, and I'll let you guys go off on whatever you want to go off about. My favorite quote is Lavernius Coles, who said, "I went to the Jets to play football. I went to Washington to get paid." And that was the problem. That was the problem with the Dan Snyder era in Washington.
Yeah. And so he batted 500.
I think the worst owner in football is the one who can't admit that he has the worst general manager in the history of the game. And that's Jerry Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. I love touchdown, Ken. I love it.
But I am not a Dallas Cowboy fan. A Dallas Cowboy fan believes that every player, every coach that plays for the Cowboys is the best that ever happened. But I'll be the first one to say that that's not true. I don't even know if I can name a Cowboy in the top 10 of any position that I have.
Yeah.
DeOssie, man.
Who?
Jerry Jones should hire a good general manager, not try to be one, not give it to his son. You haven't done anything in 27 years?
There's a lot to be said about Jerry Jones' ego getting in the way of Jimmy Johnson being one of the greatest coaches in history, because he had that team rolling. And Jimmy left because and Jerry was his friend at one point, and he left because of that. True.
Well, it's not enough for Jerry. It's not enough for Jerry to win Super Bowls. He has to be the one that was responsible for it.
You'd have bent his finger back,
right?
Jimmy will still be there.
We never got in a scrum unless we were trying to hit the same guy after that, right? After that, we were on the same side, so I wasn't going to hurt you.
Exactly.
Then,
Matter of fact, you saved me from freaking getting fired.
What? I could throw that in there. Only two Super Bowls though, because even though was it Switzer that came in and took over from the third? He won the third Super Bowl, but that was Jimmy's team. Switzer had nothing to do with that.
Switzer,
Look at the look on Pep's face.
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to the discussion.
The argument.
It doesn't really matter to me. I told you, they can throw anybody in the Hall of Fame now. I argue like how this guy can go, but then you have another guy that's sitting up there. I think cause more of a threat, and he definitely would be on my to-do list, and they wouldn't have him on there. You got a Kurt Warner, in the Hall of Fame. I'm still not understanding that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not understanding that. And if you say, okay, he did take him and win a Super Bowl, then that means you should go and get the Doug Williams, and you should grab the Phil Sims and bring him in. And you should get Haas. Yeah, exactly.
Won a Super Bowl.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt. You put them all.
Yeah.
He's going to go, but he's going to go.
Right.
What about Eli? He's got 2.
He'll be a Hall of Famer. He's going. He's going.
Is he going to be first ballot?
He should be. He should be.
No, it's a relevant question.
He should be.
A lot of these numbers skewed nowadays with the change of rules in the game too. You got guys now that,
no doubt.
No doubt. Think about it. Before they changed these rules, I think it was Dan Marino did it once, and I think Warren Moon might have done it twice. Throw for 5,000 yards. Now you got guys doing it left and right. It's just
no doubt.
Game. And I'm sure if you look at the 60s and 70s, they were if you threw 3,000 yards in the 60s, that was out of this world. So
Joe Namath didn't throw a pass in the second half of Super Bowl III. He didn't throw it. He did not throw a single pass in the whole half and got named MVP.
Everything. How did he get an MVP? How did he get it in the Hall of Fame?
He was also a part of. Well, he might be in. You know how they have that contributor category. He'd be more fitted for that because he kind of made the NFL and the merger a little more sexy than it was in before that. He was more flashy. He had more.
Fine and dandy.
He was a
find a sexy award and then give it to him.
Listen, he was Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift.
They crushing Joe.
Is Bob Kraft
on the crush Joe?
Bob Kraft? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's eligible. I don't know how do they do eligibility for owners?
Is Bob Kraft? He's not. You know who is? Oh, hold on. Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame as a contributor. Jerry Jones won 3 Super Bowls in 26 years. So, and he got in a couple years ago. I'm pretty sure a couple years ago.
And those 3 Super Bowls were in the first 6 years he owned the team.
Right. And Jimmy Johnson did it. Jerry had nothing to do with it, But yeah, I thought that because someone said he was on the list this year, and I don't know if he made it or not. But if you're giving out a Super Bowl for 3 championships that you had that much responsibility for, it's just that scenario is ridiculous. But Joe Namath made the NFL more popular than it had been before, or he was a big part of making it more popular than it had been before.
And listen, I was half joking when I said he was Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift. Yeah. And the thing is he offered more than just being a football player. Yeah. He was younger. The younger people liked him. Yeah. He was a different kind of guy, and that's exactly and we see this iteration every decade. Yeah. Is there's it's the Tiger Woods. It's not just finding a great player. It doesn't even have to be a great player. They just have to be something about them that people can relate to that don't normally relate to players of football or any sport for that matter.
Well, Joe Namath, I mean, he was Dennis Rodman. I mean, fur coats and doing commercials in stockings and you know what I mean. He was flamboyant. He did a lot of crazy things.
He wasn't Dennis Rodman. He was flamboyant. He was telegenic. He was doing all the commercials. He brought a ton of female fans into the game. Yeah. I mean, and that's the truth. There's no doubt about it. And
agree, but that doesn't make you a Hall of Fame.
It makes you influential. It makes you, he helped change the game. Admittedly, Jerry Jones has done the same thing. How? Yeah. By teaching the other owners how to make money.
Jerry got everybody's vending.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Well, Joe Namath does the commercials after being named the Super Bowl MVP.
After the guarantee.
Yeah, after the guarantee. Yeah, that's when Joe Namath started making commercials, and you want to say publicize the league and all that stuff. The league wasn't It wasn't big struck on the passing guys.
No, but he was Broadway Joe before that though. When they put him on that team, those pictures of him wearing the fur coat and being downtown, that was before he won the season.
Exactly. Yeah, but what I'm saying, those pictures. But Anthony was just talking about the commercials and all that stuff. His commercials was part of him being in New York. A marketing area, and then he wins the Super Bowl, and then now he's doing shit commercials and all that stuff like that.
You look at his numbers, and you couldn't even be a backup in the 80s or 90s or now for the numbers he had. It wasn't good. But
again, like we said, the numbers wasn't it. That dude he wasn't the number 1 player in that game. He wasn't the number 2. He wasn't the number 3. You might can say he was the 4th best player on the Jets that game.
Yeah.
Because you go Maynard, you go both the running backs, and before you go to Joe.
Listen, sometimes Ronald McDonald's gets credit for how good a Big Mac is.
His career record. 62 wins, 63 losses, 50.1% completion ratio, 173 touchdowns, 220 interceptions. But then you got a guy like Herb Adderley, who was drafted as a wide receiver to the Packers, and during training camp, and this story was told to me during training camp. Lombardi said to him, "The only way you're going to get on this team is to play defensive back." He said, "I never played defensive back in my life." Well, he played it all the way to the Hall of Fame. That's a player. That's somebody who deserves to be in the damn Hall of Fame, not somebody who guarantees.
I was wondering where Ken was going with this. Okay, I get it. Hey, man. You knew it was popularity. Yeah.
I want to get back to what you asked me before, Jeff, about the league wanting to get the calls right and how does it affect gamblers. I think with the more and more, the NFL has a betting partner in FanDuel. It's like, and the scrutiny that gets put on these calls now, and booth reviews and challenges, I think they really want to get it right. I don't think they want anybody stipulating or challenging whether there was a bad call because of a point spread. So I think they're going to be even more judicious about getting everything right, and maybe even instituting more rules and more supervision about making sure everything's right.
Just by the nature of gambling, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm not much of a gambler, but as many calls go for as against, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
So but what happens is, when those of us that make a bet that gets screwed by a bad call, we're yapping. We're all over the place. Those of us who are on the receiving end of that bad call are like, that's okay by me. I'll take that. No big deal. Yeah. So it's just by the nature of the gambling itself, it's got to be, you're going to live by the sword and die by the sword in that situation.
Diaz, they have a commercial where the fans are screaming, it was a good play. And they say, it's a flag on the play. They're barking. And then they said, it was, it's a good play. There was a penalty. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're happy. They end that commercial on a flag that was on the other team, and everybody is happy. That right there is to me, Ken, is like what this conversation right now is what everybody is talking about. Is like that's what they want. That's what's going down right now. When we play, if a receiver was happy that it was a flag thrown, he was considered a chump. He was considered a chump. You wanted to catch the ball. You didn't want this dude to pull you down. Exactly.
Do you think in today's NFL, in a scrum, that anybody's bending anybody's finger back?
No. Matter of fact, they don't even get in the pile no more.
They're clipping each other's nails.
Nor deny what happened to Pepper's finger, other than it was swollen afterwards. I'm not sure why, but
yeah, you don't have those Chuck Bednarik hands. I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Hey, man,
it was out of love. It was out of love and respect.
Hey.
Oh, if only you were wired for sound, Pep. If only you were wired for sound.
No, they won't wire me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what. I know it's a lot of people got a bunch of different stories on how they met their best friend. But golly, that is one right there. This dude has been my finger back and telling me about it. And now he just admitted that he wanted me to cry.
I was giving you an option. I'm a giver. I was a giver.
A giver of pain.
I was trying to be nice.
Why aren't our bodies made that we have a switch where we could just click it and we could pass out? Because I felt if I would have passed out, he could do all the pain he wanted, and I would be passed out. Like anesthesia.
If you passed out, I'd get the ball.
No, I was still. Yeah, you would have.
Oh, you would have locked up around it. You'd have locked up.
You would have stripped it out. Oh man, I couldn't even bite his hand. It was hurting so much I couldn't bite his my face mask. I said, golly, I wanted to fight. I couldn't do nothing else. I just was holding on to the ball. Somebody please get this dude up off me.
It was
Steve, I think I might have told this story once before. I was talking to Dick Butkus once, and I said that I forget who the player was. I said he told me you bit him in a scrum, and Buck was like, "What are you? Do you think I'm an animal? I'm going to bite people?" He goes, "Come on." He goes, "Well, his hand was there. Of course I'm going to bite it."
Yeah, Conrad Dobler. He said that. He said it on TV when I was a kid. He said anything outside of that face mask belonged to them. Anything inside of this face mask belongs to me. He bit the mess out. I want to say it was L.C. Greenwood or somebody. Somebody on Steel Curtain. Oh, he bit him.
Remember when Ronnie Lott broke his finger and they amputated it at halftime? Was that in a scrum?
Well, it got stuck in his face mask.
Yeah. But was that in a scrum or was it? I don't remember.
No. Yeah, it just hit somebody and finger went in there. They cut it off, taped it up, back out on the field.
Did anybody in the league do that today? Anybody in the league?
Well, hold on. Well, his is a nod better than Bavaro, but Bavaro broke his jaw.
He did.
He went in at halftime. They wired his jaw up, and then he came back out there.
And I had a broken jaw in high school. I don't know how he did that. That was a legendary story, and it got around the league too. And more than half the guys didn't believe it, but it happened.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Jack Youngblood broke his leg in the NFC Championship game and played in the Super Bowl against the Steelers.
Yep.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame either, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, once again, we've talked about this before. As Pep said, the Hall of Fame is it's as political as any other award in out there.
Let's just get a manly Hall of Fame going, just for manly.
Yeah,
that's out. You have to be
Hall of Fame.
It'd be all damn Giants, and I'd hate it.
It'd be all defensive players.
A couple of the Hogs in there.
I hope so. There's not nearly enough Hogs in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I think we got one.
Yep.
One.
We would have. I would vote for Doug.
Yeah.
Doug Williams.
Yeah. I would vote for Doug.
Do you think he had a career long enough to warrant a Hall of Fame?
He remember he was over there in Tampa.
Yeah.
And he got Tampa on the charts.
Yeah.
Tampa had a team.
Yeah. He got Tampa on the charts when
I know.
Steve Young couldn't get Tampa on the charts.
Yeah. Right.
And so he did a better job over there. And so Steve Young goes to a Super Bowl winning system and it makes him MVP. And Doug goes to a Super Bowl winning system and he gets MVP of a Super Bowl, and which was, probably could have been shared because that little running back was running. Also, he was killing.
Yep.
But still, he did it. And
listen, Doug Williams had one good quarter.
The second quarter against Denver, is that what you're going to say?
Second quarter against Denver.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, but they got there. I can care less about if you voted him MVP or not.
I want to ask Steve. I want to ask who, and it doesn't have to be a Washington player. I won't take offense to that. Who was the guy on the other side of the line that you played more than once that just gave you fits every time you were trying to play against him?
Jim Richter at Buffalo. But he was a smaller offensive lineman. I'm great friends with him now. I've known him for many, many years. But he was kind of undersized. He was only like 275. And I just thought I'd throw the bone on him and buckle his neck a little bit and manhandle. If he ever got a hold of you, you're done. You were done. We played him one time and he got. I went in. I laid my helmet was. I used it more as a weapon to try to stuff guys and I figured I'd do that to Jim because he was only he was 275, so he was only about 10 pounds less than me, but I mean more. but he gets a hold of me and just walks me back and pancakes me. A couple plays later, does the same thing. Like this, boom, grabs me again. This time I tried to, do the whole hand thing. Gets me again. Didn't pancake me this time because I spun out of it. But third time, he's coming at me, and I'm literally like running away from him like this, trying to keep his hands off me. Because
no!
and Belichick's looking at me and he says, Steve, is this a technique you learned in Dallas?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting ready to say. I knew he wouldn't let you go away.
Wave off. I'm like, this son of a bitch freaking. Once he got a hold of you, you were done. You were done. Wow. And he was very good at it.
Yeah.
Outland Trophy winner from NC State, I think. Great player for Buffalo. Great friend now, but he was as hard ahead as there was. You could hit him all day, every play, and it didn't matter. He'd just jump up and come back at you the next play. And that was a guy that he gave me fits every time we played. And it was a couple of times that, I don't know if I ever got the best of him. And he was just that good a player. And now I feel bad about being so mad at him all the time because he's such a dear friend now. But he was a great player, and he was tough. There was a couple other guys along the way, but most of the time I felt so good with the boys around me that I had, the guys that I was playing with, Eric Howard, the nose tackle, even Emore at the end. Eric Moore would always want to, not Eric Moore, Eric. How they just wanted to crash all the time, and they just kept yelling at you to let the defensive end just crash, and you every time you did it, you had to explain it to Belichick why you called for it. He asked me 10 straight times.
Yeah, Dorsey.
Eric Dorsey. That's right.
Yeah.
And
Dorsey.
Yeah.
Rip me, Pap.
Yeah.
Rip me.
Rip. Give me the rip. And because he could destroy a lot of people by doing the rip because he couldn't, move as well as some of the other defensive ends.
DeOssie. Yeah. Can you imagine Dorsey in a 4-man line as a 3 technique getting off the ball?
Yeah.
I told these guys, I said he would have had a whole nother storyline, and we would probably be sitting up here talking about why isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
You talk about strong and quick, and I appreciate that.
And you wasn't stopping him when he was going straight.
Not at all. Not even
when he wanted to go through that gap.
Yeah.
We stopped him by making him 2 gap.
Right. But then if we did do the 4-3, then there'd be only 3 linebackers on there, and I'd be the odd man out. So that would have sucked. That would have sucked.
Yeah. We wouldn't have wanted that.
No.
And now you got somebody else. So what you you put John Washington or if you had Dorsey as a 3 technique, and so George was out there.
Yep.
So LT is not rushing.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I'd rather screw up Dorsey's career than
He was like a giant ocean liner sometimes when he just like take out as much as he could, and then eventually he'd turn around.
You gonna make me call LT tomorrow. I'm gonna call him tomorrow, man. I gotta give him that scenario right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
I said, man, what if they would have went to a 4-man line?
Yeah.
When they drafted Dorsey and told you have to play a cover, cover linebacker.
Oh my God. He'd went to New Orleans and traded with Pat Swilling.
Hey.
Him and Ricky.
So one time against Philly, the LT could call. He could call sometimes where he was supposed to blitz, and there was something they had that week that where if LT saw something, he'd switch with me, and I'd end up blitzing. And we blitzed. I had Randall dead to rights in the backfield, and next thing you know, I'm flat on the ground with my face in the turf, and the guy that I was supposed to cover, that LT chose to cover. Randall goes and makes the pass, about a 35-yard completion. And I thought, I'm coming back to the huddle, and I'm like, oh, LT's just going to rip me. It's going to be – he just comes back real calm. He goes, we're not going to be doing that again. Okay. Yeah. Why'd you do it in the first place?
Yeah.
Tell me to rush the passer instead of Lawrence Taylor. What the hell kind of sense does that make? None.
Right.
Hey,
I think Lawrence.
No,
he was goofing on me. I think that's what he was doing. He wanted to see me.
Mike Nolan.
Yep.
Mike Nolan. He remember that freaking discussion I had with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. Trust me. Me and LT, we got this down. We know when he rush and when I can rush. We're not gonna let somebody formation us and make me rush.
Right.
And he was like, "What are you scared?"
Mike Nolan said that? Mike Nolan said that to you. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's so
freaking Mike Nolan. I said, man, you don't know who I am. I'm the guy that rushed on the other side on third down. You know, and
you had a lot of interceptions for a linebacker too.
No, not that many. Oh, you're talking to Pepper. Sorry.
Pepper.
I had one and it was a tip. So, yeah.
Nice.
Pepper never came off the field.
Do you still have the ball?
Good story too, because I get it. It was I think it was it was in the preseason game. It happened against Cleveland. I caught an interception, ran 20 yards into the end zone, which felt about like 80 yards, and then I'm on the bench and I'm with all the boys and we're all like this. And Parcells comes over and says, "Hey Steve, when you're done here with all this, we're gonna do the extra point. We're gonna kick the extra point. Someone's gonna."
Because he snapped, Anthony. He snapped.
Long snapper too. He goes, no, relax. We already took the penalty. You just get finished with this here, and then go take care of that.
That's fun.
Hey man!
Wow.
Horrible.
Parcells, that dude, it just don't stop.
No.
Now, if that had been regular season, there might have been a little different reaction.
There'd have been some hell to pay.
No, you know what? We wouldn't have let him get off. We would have never let him get off the field.
Yeah.
Somebody else would have thought about it.
Yep. Yeah,
so it was like, no, Parcells probably was on the headset.
Yep.
No, let him keep on walking. Let's see how long he goes.
No, Parcells. He was probably telling his other coach, "Look, DeOssie forgets he has to long snap. He forgets he's on the field goal team."
Because I'm telling you, he doesn't miss anything.
That's true.
He doesn't miss anything. So he saw Steve way before. He could have stopped him a long time ago.
Yep. Yeah, you're
right. Got him back out there on the field. I'm telling you, he was telling his coaches. And so who was at
Sweatman?
So that was Rack. It was Rack. No.
Sweatman.
So it had
might have been
Sweatman. So Sweatman, yeah. So Sweatman probably would have. Well, then again, I don't know if Sweatman would have. He probably would have been high fiving you. He probably would celebrate with you.
Yep.
I'll tell you, long snapping is probably the most thankless job in all of football.
Yeah,
because you are getting popped.
They used to be able to pop you. Now they can't.
Yeah.
But back when you snap the ball and hope you don't land on your ass.
Yeah,
they didn't. Steve never had to worry about that. They weren't going to hit him because they knew he would bend their finger back.
Yeah. Listen, if the only time I was ever scared pass rushing, because I got to know you knew Reggie White pretty well.
Oh yeah.
And I knew him from the college All-Star game out in Hawaii, and became friends out there. We're lining up for a field goal one time against Philly, and we're standing there waiting for the ref to set the ball, and Reggie's like, "Steve, how you doing?" "Hey, Reggie, everything good?" He goes, "Listen, Steve, I want to apologize for what I'm going to have to do to you." Now, anybody else in the league says that to me, I'd be like, "Screw you, kiss my."
Yeah.
He was sincere. He was being 100% honest.
Right.
No doubt.
He grabbed me and tossed me. I must have landed about a yard from Haas when I finally landed on the ground. And who's the first guy to come over and pick me up? Reggie. Comes over, picks me up, dusts me off. "You okay, Steve? You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay, Reg. Thanks. Appreciate it."
You're mad.
Yeah.
because you feel like you couldn't do nothing. This dude just took my manhood from me.
He did.
Yeah.
And then now he's going to be nice about
Well,
it.
he treats you like a 5-year-old. He picks you up, dusts you off, pats you on the butt. So
Go on back there.
Yes, remember,
you try harder next time, buddy.
I was always that right tackle.
Yeah.
I was always that right tackle on the punt team.
Yep.
And they would Philadelphia would, I think sometimes knowing Buddy was keeping them dudes on the field just so that they could slap us around.
No doubt.
Because he would it wasn't, it's no way they was thinking we was getting ready to fake and go for and go for it.
From our own third.
And they go Reggie lining up over me. He was giving me that story too. Hey, Pep.
Yep.
Can't wait to see you in the camp next year. And the ball, you snap the ball in. I used to grab him. I grabbed him. I hugged him. I wouldn't have let him toss me on the ground. I was like, oh.
Wait, now is there anybody that you guys did that to on the other side of the ball? Is there anybody you didn't play on those?
I see. I'm bad though. I hit. I was that guy that blindsided people.
Well, back when you were allowed to.
Yeah. They just called it trap block.
You could watch
Keith Byers,
who didn't have their head on the swivel. You could tell.
I just want to ask Steve one question. It's like you came in with the Dallas Cowboys, and my dad was very good friends with Gil Brandt. Was Gil Brandt your first position coach?
Yep.
Oh, he wasn't a special teams coach?
No, Gil Brandt was the general manager when I was there. Gil Brandt. Nope. He was already in the front office, and he's the guy who went in after 4 years and said, "I want to do a new my contract was up." He puts a paper across the desk, says, "Here's what we're going to give you." I'm like, "That's not enough." He goes, "What are you going to do about it? There's no free agency. Couldn't go anywhere. I could sit out 3 years and I'd still have to come back to the Cowboys." But he didn't stop it there. He's like, we negotiated something that was reasonable, at the time. But he was a sharp guy. He found a lot of guys out of colleges that nobody knew about. Guys like Everson Walls and a couple other players from the smaller schools, the HBCU things. He was all over that before it was in vogue, and he was a big part of the success that Dallas had in the early years. Might have been part of the downfall too the last 5 years, because we were struggling and trying to figure out a bunch of different things, and none of that. He was taking a lot of long shots on his first round picks, and none of them really panned out all that much. But he was always good to me. He was never a pain in my side. He was just always fair and honest with me. That's all you can count on. All you can hope for. So, yeah.
That's right. I'll tell you guys a funny fact about my Washington team. Our quarterback is on pace to have the best season in yards that any quarterback has had for Washington if he continues what he's doing, which is crazy because nobody's.
And he started on the depth chart at third.
Last year he was third. Sam Howell is now he's on pace to get almost 5,000 yards this year. That's how. And I'm like, who knew that?
Yep.
That's like the linebacker who's got 200 tackles, but he's on an 0-16 team.
Yeah, like I said, it's just these are the crazy things that happen in sports.
True.
There we go.
All right,
stats. That's why you throw them out the window.
Exactly. All right, guys.
I agree.
Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for showing up. And unless Anthony's got some awesome pick for us for this weekend,
who's too early in the week, damn it.
Thanks,
the injury reports don't come out till Thursday.
I know. You guys don't. See, we record this show a couple days early, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I want to thank.
Do a small segment on Thursday or Friday if you want. That'd be fun.
Well, I'm going to Mexico, so I can't do it this week.
Not this week. Maybe next week, guys. But I want to thank Steve so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, DeOssie.
It was great.
Great, a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve, for having a cigar without me.
Yeah. Next time, I'll see you.
All right, and I want to see Pep. I want you to take us out, buddy. What do you got for a final thought? I do this to him every week.
Leave the referees alone. They don't know what they're doing, and it's like talking to them. Yeah, exactly.
It's like picking out all the kids.
Don't motivate them.
So as much as we want to say adios and bye to them guys, and all of us have the same suggestion. They should get ex-players. They should have me and DeOssie out there refereeing ball games. You can have a better outlook on the game, even though Ken don't think so. He, for whatever reason, he thinks Steve, we wouldn't make a call because we would say like he's crack blocking on me. Yeah. Man, ain't no crack block. I ain't throwing a flag.
Get up. Yeah.
Suck it up. Get up.
Exactly. Get up.
Yep.
Well, so we're going to say, until next week, thank you, my man DeOssie.
Thanks, my friend.
Love you, boss, man. Hey, you always have came through.
Anytime.
It's just another time. It's just another little chip.
Appreciate it. And you guys find yourself in Providence, just come on over to the best steakhouse you can find. Pep Talk, Steve Steakhouse, and I also have a couple of cigar lounges in the casino. It's in the Bally's Twin River Casino in Lincoln, Rhode Island, just outside of Providence. And Pepper could testify. It's a pretty good spot. I don't pretend to run it. I hire good people who do a good job. So it's a lot of fun, and been there 17 years now. Pep, can you believe it?
Wow.
17 years. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Providence, Rhode Island, you said?
Right outside Providence. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I used to go to Foxwoods a lot, and up into that area.
Yep.
You don't have to go that far.
Yeah. Now you don't have to.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for the evening. This was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.